Today we're talking about folklore of King Arthur's knights that can definitely be read as queer for Pride Month. This is Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, a 14th century chivalric romance. It's New Year's Eve in Camelot, and King Arthur and his knights are all celebrating and exchanging gifts. And then suddenly this giant green knight comes into the hall. He's all in green, riding a green horse, and he wears no armor. All he's holding is an axe and a holly bough, and there is a lot of symbolism around holly, old pagan symbolism having to do with the winter solstice that then got turned into Christian symbolism about Christ's crown of thorns and the blood. Like this story and most of folklore of Europe, it's a combination of Christianity and paganism that's really cool. Anyway, he says, I have a fun New Year's game for us to play. Any of y'all can strike me once with an axe. The only condition is in 1 year and 1 day, I have to be able to return the blow to you. None of the knights want to do it, so King Arthur's about to step up and do it. But then Sir Gawain, who is the youngest of the knights, steps up and says, I will do it. The knight kneels, bares his neck, and Gawain just chops his head off in one stroke. But then, as you can see here, dude stands right up, picks up his head, puts his head back on again, and says, all right, see you in 1 year and a day. And he's not coming back here. Gawain has to travel to his place, the Green Chapel. When the date approaches 1 year later, Gawain leaves to go find this Green Chapel, comes across this strange, beautiful castle. He meets the lord of the castle, who's super friendly to him. He's got a beautiful wife, also friendly, and there's this strange, old, ugly woman there that everyone just treats with reverence, but we don't know who she is. Gawain explains to the lord what he has to go do in a few days, so the lord says, hey, that Green Chapel's just like a mile down the road. Stay here and rest with us for a few days before you have to go. Because you're likely gonna die, get your head chopped off. The head chopping stuff is referred to as a game, and so the Lord proposes another game to Gawain. The Lord's gonna go hunting every day, and when he gets back, he will give Gawain whatever he caught, but Gawain has to give him whatever he got at the house that day. The Lord leaves to go hunting, and then his wife comes to Gawain's bedroom and behaves all seductively. She tries to bang him, but he only lets her give him one kiss. So when the Lord comes home that night, he gives Gawain the deer he killed, and Gawain gives him a kiss. Doesn't say where he got it from, but he could probably guess. The next day, the same thing happens. He lets her give him 2 kisses this time, and when the Lord comes home and gives him a boar, he gives the 2 kisses to the Lord. The third day, she tries to give him a ring, but he will not take it. And then finally, she's like, well, how about if I give you this girdle or sash? That's green. If you wear this sash, you will be safe from all physical harm. And that sounds pretty tempting to a dude who's supposed to go get his head chopped off soon. So he accepts it, and he accepts 3 kisses from her this time. And this time when the Lord comes home, he gives him the 3 kisses, but he does not give him the sash or tell him about that. Holds that back. So the next day, Gawain leaves to go meet the Green Knight at the Green Chapel, which is like a big cavern that's all green and it's inside a cave. The Green Knight's there, Gawain bares his neck to receive the blow, and the Green Knight F's with him. Like, he brings it down, and then Gawain flinches, and he's like, you flinched. And he's like, okay, I won't flinch this next time. So he brings it down again, and he doesn't flinch, but he stops again. And the third time, he brings it down, but he just nicks his neck. Gawain thinks, okay, we gotta fight now. So he gets up, grabs his sword, but then the Green Knight's like, ha ha ha, actually, I'm the Lord whose house you were staying at just recently. This whole thing was set up by that old woman at the castle who's actually Morgan Le Fay, who is sometimes portrayed as a sorceress, but sometimes evil, sometimes not. She's Arthur's either biological sister or stepsister. Either way, this whole thing was her to set up this whole test. She basically wanted to test Arthur's knights and also frighten Guinevere, which she did at the beginning. I didn't mention that, but Guinevere did not like the whole head chopping off thing. The nick that Gawain suffers at the end in the 3rd stroke is to repay him for that lie of keeping the sash and his cowardice of not going into the bargain completely honestly. Gawain's ashamed, but the knight says, no, you're actually blameless, you're good, and so he goes home with the sash. Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table also absolve him of all blame, and then they all wear green sashes to remind themselves of how important it is to keep your promises and be honest. There's a lot of stuff to dig into and study in this story. As an English major in college, we studied this story. But the queer aspect is especially cool. The main plot element of this story is Gawain giving another man kisses every day, and to a modern audience, that's pretty gay. The narration itself also really eroticizes all of the male characters, well, and the women too. But a male author is describing the male knight as absolutely gorgeous, and Gawain thinks to himself about how beautiful the Lord is when he's staying in his castle. Now, some people definitely argue that Gawain embracing and kissing the Lord is just a homosocial thing, not homosexual. According to historians, men of this time embraced and kissed, like with their friends, which is actually kind of cool. But men during this time were also queer. And the kissing and embracing between Gawain and the Lord does seem to be sexual for a couple of reasons. One is that the wife clearly is trying to have sex with Gawain, and therefore the kisses and embraces she gives him that he then gives her husband are going to be sexual. There's also sexual imagery with the Lord going out and hunting every day and bringing back his kill to Gawain in a very romantic, me alpha man kill prey for my woman kind of way. It's almost like a perfect cycle of like sexual intimacy and hunting and trust and honor between these three people until Gawain breaks it by keeping the secret about the sash. Should deep, intimate, emotional relationships between heterosexual men, particularly with no fear of touching and kissing and hugging, be normalized and celebrated? Absolutely. But so should queer stories. They're both good ways to read it. The color green itself is also really cool. It kind of harkens to this pagan wild man sort of figure, but also fits into Christianity at the time that often pictured the devil as green, and in this one having a butt face. I just couldn't do this video without showing you this. It's special. As always, check out my book, A Fairy Tale Reimagining of the 12 Dancing Princesses, my podcast. All the links are in my bio, and happy Pride.